Okay, this story comes from Ryan J. Riley from the Huffington Post. Harris County Jail, which serves the Houston area, is one of the largest jails in the country. Like many other jails in America, it's full of people who are locked up on minor charges and can't afford to pay bail. It struggles with understaffing and it's plagued by lawsuit. But here's what makes Harris County Jail different. Inmates die there at a higher rate per capita than most other jails in the nation, according to the Huffington Post analysis of death data from July 13, 2015 to July 13, 2016. The Harris County facility is about an hour from the jail where Sandra Bland was found hanging in July 2015. In the year after her death, at least 12 Harris County inmates died on the jail's watch, a Huffington Post investigation found. One of them suffered the fatal injury in custody but was technically released by the time he died. Most of the deaths were related to medical issues as opposed to the results of assaults or suicide. The Harris County Sheriff's Office, which runs the jail, did not address HuffPost's request for comment on this story by deadline. Nationwide, more than 800 people lost their lives in jail in the year HuffPost studied. Many of these deaths occurred in the first few days of incarceration. The Federal Bureau of Justice Statistics, which counts these fatalities, keeps most of its data to itself. Publicly released reports do not reveal the number of deaths at each facility, only the number of deaths in each state. So until HuffPost's investigation, it was difficult to identify which jails may warrant additional scrutiny. As of April, the inmate population of Harris County Jail was more than 9,000, and the facility has suffered from overcrowding. The jail also understaffed. Over time, pay for staff has skyrocketed in the last 2 years, according to the Houston Chronicle. The jailers must sometimes work double shifts multiple days a week, which has made employee retention challenging. About 40% of staff have reportedly worked at the jail for 2 years or less. It's not even just lack of staffing, it's the high turnover rate, Harris County Chief Public Defender Alex Bunyan told HuffPost. The starting salary for Harris County detention officers is about $34,000 a year. They don't make it a career. They treat it as a stepping stone to other work, but it's basically treated as an entry-level job. It makes it a very hectic and scary place both to work in and to be housed in, Bunyan added. Adequate staffing is crucial to preventing jail deaths because correctional officers are on the front lines watching inmates for signs of injury, illness, or suicidal behavior and referring them for medical help. Whether you're talking about jail deaths that result from violence or jail deaths that result from inmate suicide, these are things that can become a problem because of understaffing, said Wallace Nader, a staff attorney with the Texas Civil Rights Project. On April 3rd, Patrick Brown was booked into the jail on allegations that he stole a guitar, a misdemeanor theft charge. His bail was set at $3,000 despite the fact that he had no violent criminal history, the Houston Press reported. 2 days later, he was allegedly beaten to death by 2 other inmates who were later charged with aggravated assault. In response to that case, the Harris County Sheriff suggested that his staff too stretched to watch the facility's camera monitors at all times. A lawsuit filed April by the family of Patrick Green, another inmate who died last year, claims that guards ignored signs of bacterial meningitis that killed him. Other inmates allegedly attempted to buzz for staff multiple times, then banged on the walls and held Green up to the glass to show how sick he was. When guards did finally show up, one kicked Patrick 4 to 5 times in the right shoulder before help was called, according to the lawsuit. In a May court filing, Harris County acknowledged that Green died of meningitis but denied the allegations. The county paid a $400,000 settlement last year to a mentally ill inmate who was left for weeks in a feces-clogged cell. After that lawsuit, more than 24 employees were disciplined, including 2 who were charged with criminal conduct related to the falsifying of jail logs. You may be in there with people that are violent or mentally ill or just sick. You could lose your job if you miss it for a few days. You may have kids to take care of. That's one of the response from the guards. Wow. The problems in the jails are exacerbated by the way the bail system works in Harris County. About 70% of the jail's inmates are there because they cannot afford bail. Many individuals accused of low-level crimes await the resolution of their cases behind bars simply because they don't have the money to purchase their freedom. The Houston Chronicle reported in December that 55 people had died while awaiting trial there since 2009, meaning that dozens of people who were still presumed innocent died in custody. The county is currently facing a lawsuit filed on behalf of a 22-year-old mother who was jailed over an invalid driver's license and kept incarcerated because she couldn't afford the $2,500 bail. The lawsuit was filed by Equal Justice Under Law, a nonprofit that is challenging bail systems across the country. In Harris County, magistrates setting bail for defendants rarely stray from a bail schedule that proposes certain amounts for various crimes. While each defendant is supposed to receive an individual assessment to determine his or her bail, that often doesn't happen. Harris County Sheriff Ron Hickman has said there is a critical need to address the bail practices in the county. You have two completely different justice systems, Gerald Wheeler, former director of pretrial services for Harris County, told the Houston Chronicle, one for the rich and one for the poor. That's usually how it always works, one for the rich and one for the poor. And so, wow, the highest county with death rates. People dying for while they're incarcerated for petty crimes that they shouldn't even have to go through a bail hearing. They should just be let go. Unbelievable. If you'd like to hear more black news or more information, please subscribe to @yourblackworld.net. My name is Yurima Karama at Your Black World News.